Hello student, welcome to my class. Today I am going to take class 11 geography. The book name is Fundamental of Physical Geography. It is chapter 2 and the name of the chapter is Origin and Evolution of Earth. So this is basically a very interesting chapter. In this chapter you will find out some interesting facts like how the earth came into existence, how the universe came into existence, how the sun, star, moon are formed, and how the galaxy came into the existence, how hydrosphere, lithosphere, atmosphere came into existence, and how finally the life came into the existence. So this is basically very interesting chapter. So let's proceed with this chapter. First and foremost, in this chapter, we will see the story of origin of Earth. So, how the Earth has come into the existence was always the big question in front of the geographers. They always wanted to have the answer for this. So, to answer how the Earth has origin or how Earth evolved and came into existence, there were many theories suggested by the different philosophers, different geographers and scientists. But there are some two main theories which are discussed in your book, and that two theory is really very important to explain the origin of Earth. So what is the first theory? This theory is called early theory, or it is also called nuclear hypothesis, and it was given by German philosopher named Immanuel Kant. So Immanuel Kant actually explained that Earth has actually formed because of the sun's material. So actually the Earth has formed out of the sun's material, he said, and there was a cloud type of material came out from the sun, and that material got consolidated and turned into planet, according to Immanuel Kant. So Immanuel Kant basically said that the Earth is formed out of the material from the sun. Then there came the new theory called modern theory, or this theory is also called binary theory, and it was given by Chamberlain and Moulton. So what did they say? They said that in the past, what happened, there was a wandering star, the star which was roaming, and that wandering star came near to the sun and it bumped the sun and moved away. So when it bumped the sun, so much of material came out from the sun. And with those material, the planet was ultimately formed, according to Chamberlain and Moulton. This is binary theory. They said that because the two objects collided, they bump each other, and some material came out from the youthful sun. Because the wandering star and the sun bump each other, and so some material in the form of cigar like a line came out from the sun, and from that material the planet was ultimately formed. So this was the origin of Earth explained by two different theory. But later on, what happened, the geographers, they did not even want, they don't only wanted to know how the Earth came into the origin. Now they wanted to know how the Earth and other planet came into existence, how the star is formed, how the moon is formed, how the other spatial objects are formed. So basically they now wanted to know how complete universe is formed. So their concentration shifted from the origin of Earth to the origin of universe. So now they started researching and finding out the way the universe came into existence. And to explain the origin of universe, there came so many theories, but one modern theory is very famous to explain the origin of universe, and that is called Big Bang theory, or it is also called expanding universe hypothesis. So this theory actually explains how the universe came into existence, and this theory was given by Edwin Hubble, and it was given in 1920. And according to this theory, as the name suggests, expanding universe. Okay, so expanding universe means the universe is expanding. According to this theory, the universe is expanding. Like in a balloon, you have so many dots, and when you fill the air in the balloon, the dots get separated from each other. Same way, this says that the universe is also expanding like a balloon. The balloon in which you are filling the air, and the dots in the balloon get separated from each other, same way the universe is expanding according to this theory. And this theory says that the galaxies, the various galaxy present in the universe is moving apart from each other. Alright, so this is the theory they said, and according to this theory, once upon a time, billions of years ago, once upon a time, all the matter which is present today in the universe was combined together in a tiny ball, in a single tiny ball. All the matter which is now present in the universe was combined together in a single tiny ball, and that tiny ball was called singular matter, singular atom. Alright, so in a singular atom, in a very small tiny ball, all the matter of the universe was there. Once upon a time, billions of years a time, all the matter of the universe was there in a small tiny ball. Alright, then what happened? This ball was actually, he described that ball, Edwin Hubble, and he says that this ball was unimaginable small. You cannot even imagine how small that ball was. And its weight and temperature was extremely high. Its weight means density. Its density and temperature was extremely high, so infinite that you cannot express it in the number also. So that tiny ball which he's talking about, in which all the matter of the universe was there, it was extremely small, which you cannot even imagine, and it was having a very, very high density, very high weight, and with lot of temperature which you cannot express in number. And then what happened? This tiny ball exploded like a bomb. The bomb is like a small ball, right? When you explode it, so many things come out from that ball. Alright, same way that tiny ball, due to big bang, big dhamaka, it got exploded violently and it started expanding. The material inside the ball started expanding in the universe. So this was the theory, and this theory according to him happened 13.7 billion years ago, not 2-3 years ago, or 2-3 thousands years ago, or 2-3 lakhs or millions years ago. It happened 13.7 billion years ago. So all the matter of the universe was there in the tiny ball. That tiny ball was unimaginably small, and its temperature and density was very high, and due to big bang, big dhamaka, that ball got exploded, and its matter in the ball started getting expanding. So even today, the expansion happened 13.7 billion years ago, and now also it is expanding. He says that not only at that time it was expanding, it is expanding even today. But earlier, 13.7 billion years ago, it was expanding in a very fast rate, very rapidly. But now also it is expanding, but its speed has been little slowed down, but still it is expanding. So this theory says that after 3 lakhs year, from the Big Bang, from the big explosion, what happened? The temperature of that object started decreasing. The matters came out from that tiny ball. Its temperature started decreasing slowly and slowly. After 3 lakhs years, started decreasing its temperature. And then the matter which was present in the universe took the shape of various objects, and in this way the various objects were formed out of the material came out from that tiny ball. So this is actually one of the most famous theory which has been given for to explain the origin of the universe. And most of the scientists agree with this theory, because there are many evidences we have found out which says that yes, this theory is true. Alright, so now we will see how the star formation took place. So what happened when the ball exploded? Its matter started expanding in the universe. So when the matter got distributed all over the universe, it did not distribute it in a uniform weight. It's not like 5 kg went to each and every place, or 5 lakh kg went to each and every place. It expanded in an uneven way. In some places lot of matter went, and in some places some small amount of matter went. So the matter and energy was not distributed evenly in the universe. Alright, so because of this uneven distribution of the matter, the different object, when they started forming, this all different object had different density, because the amount of matter was different in each area. So the density of the object which was formed out of that matter was also different in every object. So every object formed with different density, and density means weight. Alright, so every object formed with different density, because the matter distribution was not even, and this because they had different density, so they had different gravitational pull also. What is gravitational pull? You know that the earth have the attraction force, that is called its gravitational force. So not only the earth is having the gravitational pull, all the objects present in the universe have some gravitational pull. So how their gravitational pull is decided? It is decided according to the density. The more bigger the object is, the more gravitational pull that object used to have. Alright, so the different matters were distributed uneven, the different object get formed, and this different object had different density, and this different object had different gravitational pull. And because of this gravitational pull, you know, they stayed together, because each object attract the other object. If this gravitational pull were not there, they would have moved apart from each other. But because of the gravitational pull, they stayed together. All the objects are putting gravitational pulls on each other, and because of that gravitational pull, they are staying together, and this led to formation of galaxy. And you know, the galaxy is really big, and it contains many stars. And how big the galaxy is, you can understand by its diameter. Diameter, like in the circle you have the diameter, same way you have the diameter in the galaxy, and that diameter can be extended from 80,000 to 15 lakh light year, because the distance is measured in the universe in the light year. It's not measured in kilometer, it is measured in the light year. And what is the distance of the each galaxy? It can be of 80,000 light year, or it can be 15 lakh light years diameter. Its diameter it's that's big. The size of the diameter is showing how big the galaxy is. And you know, in the galaxy you have so many stars. So how this star actually get formed? See, when the tiny ball get exploded, so many matter came out from that tiny ball, and also the hydrogen and helium gases also came out from that tiny ball. And all these hydrogen gases, they started accumulating, joining each other, and they lead to the formation of nebula. And this nebula started becoming bigger and denser, because this nebula had the gravitational pull capacity. So it started attracting the other dust, grain and gases present in the universe, and those dust, gases and grain got attracted to the nebula and joined the nebula. And so the nebula started increasing in size, and its density also started increasing with time. And then ultimately the nuclear reaction took place in that nebula. And because of the fusion reaction, nuclear reaction, the light and heat was produced in that nebula, and that led to the formation of star. So this way the star came into the existence, and it is believed that the star came into existence 5 to 6 billion years ago. So now let us see how the planet were formed. You understood how the star has been formed, how the galaxy came into the existence, how the universe came into the existence. Now let's see how the planet has came into existence. See, this planet does not formed in one stage. It took many stages, and then it led to the formation of planet. See, you understood how nebula, the star, has been formed. So when the nebula was formed, there were so many gases and dust was there in the universe, and this nebula had the gravitational pull. So it started attracting some gases, grain and dust present in the universe. The hydrogen gases mostly join the nebula, but some gases, grain and dust remain loose in front of nebula, and they started revolving around the nebula, because the nebula was attracting it with its gravitational pull. And then slowly this dust, grain and gases formed a rotating disk. This dust, grain and gases, they accumulate, they join each other and they formed a rotating disk. A disk shape was formed which was rotating in itself, and while rotating in itself it was revolving around a nebula. And this rotating disk was in a course of time turned into gas core. What is gas core? It is like a gas cloud. A big gas cloud was formed out of this rotating disk. And then this gas cloud, it turned into a small rounded object called planetesimal. See what is happening. First the dust and grain was there, then it turned into rotating disk, then it turned into gas cloud, and then it turned into planetesimal, small rounded object. Because it is continuously attracting the other dust, grain and gases from the universe, and those dust, gases and grain is continuously joining them, colliding with them, joining them, and they getting accumulated day by day, and they are turning into different objects. So this way the planetesimal was formed, and further this planetesimal became a bigger planetesimal, and after a course of time, this planetesimal, so many planetesimal joined together and form the planet. And this is all happening because always the dust, grain and gases from universe is getting joining with this planetesimals, because this planetesimal is also having some gravitational pull, so it is attracting the other gases, grain and dust from the outside, and they are getting joined to the planetesimal. And in this way the planetesimal was formed, and many planetesimal when came together and joined each other, they led to the formation of planet. And in this way your earth and other planet came into existence. So now let's see about solar system. So what is solar system? See, our solar system have 8 planets, as you know, and it is expected to be formed 4 to 6 billion years ago. And this solar system not only have the 8 planets, it also have 63 moon and millions of asteroids and comets, along with so many huge quantity of dust, grain and gases. Still in our solar system, many dust, gases and grains are there. So you have the scope of forming new object in the universe. Sometimes a new object, new asteroid, new comets can also get formed in the universe, because still there is a large quantity of dust, gases and grain roaming in the solar system. Alright, and you have the 8 planet, and Pluto was also once upon a time, before 2006, was a planet. Earlier we used to have 9 planets and Pluto was one of it. But in 2006 the Pluto was removed from the list of the solar system, because it was removed from the list of the planets, because the International Astronomical Union, they decided that it should not be considered as planet, because it's having very small size, and it's like a dwarf planet, like a small planet. So it cannot be considered under the categories of planet, and they removed Pluto from the list of planets. And from 2006 we are having 8 planets after removal of the Pluto. So this planet is basically divided into 2 categories, and that is inner planet and outer planet. Alright, so we will study about the planet under these 2 categories, inner planet and outer planet. We are going to study about this in the comparison form. So you can see that in one side I have written inner planet, and another side you have the outer planet. So what is inner planet? Inner planet is also called terrestrial planet. Terrestrial means it look like Earth-like. Alright, its meaning is Earth-like. So all the planets which come under the category of inner planet are actually the terrestrial planet. They are also called terrestrial planet because they look like Earth. And all the planets which come under the outer planet, they are called Jovian planet or gas giant planet. Gas giant means they are very big in size, like a giant. It's a very big in size, that's why they are called giant planet. Okay, and it is also called Jovian planet because it look like Jupiter. So the inner planet look like Earth and the outer planet look like Jupiter. And this inner planet comes in between the sun and the asteroid belt. Where is the asteroid belt? Asteroid belt is actually after the planet Mars. So after Sun and before Mars, there is an asteroid belt. After Mars, there is an asteroid belt. So before asteroid belt and after the Sun, in between this area, the inner planet lies. And the outer planet lies in between the asteroid belt and the Pluto. Pluto was the 9th planet. It was the last planet earlier. So now the Pluto has been removed from the planet list. So before Pluto and after the asteroid belt, in between that area, the outer planet is found. The first 4 planets of our solar system, that is Mercury, Venus and Earth and Mars, they come under the category of inner planet. And the last 4 planets, that is your Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune, it comes under the category of outer planet. The other difference between inner planet and outer planet is that inner planets are closer to the sun and outer planet is far away from the sun. And because the inner planet is closer to the sun, so the solar wind, the solar radiation is very high in the inner planet. This solar radiation is also called solar wind. Alright, so this is very high in front of inner planet because it is closer to the sun, but it is very less intensive. This solar wind is very less intensive in the outer planet. This inner planet is basically made up of rock and metals, and so they are having high density, whereas the outer planet is actually have the thick atmosphere and it is formed out of hydrogen and helium. See, this inner planet, the first 4 planets are actually small in size. The Earth, Mercury, Venus and Mars all are small in size, and because they are small in size, so they have less gravitational pull. Whereas the outer planets are very giant, they are very big in size, and that's why they have more gravitational pull. So this is about your solar system. We have studied the solar system's planet under the category of inner planet and outer planet. Now let's proceed to the further topic. Now we will see about the moon. Moon is the natural satellite of Earth. Alright, so this is the only natural satellite of Earth, and there are so many theories to explain the formation of moon, and many theories were given to explain the formation of moon, but the 2 theories are discussed in your book. And the first theory to explain the formation of moon is Dumbbell-Bell shaped theory. This Dumbbell-Bell shaped theory says that this theory was given by George Darwin in 1858, and this Dumbbell-Bell theory says that this Earth and moon was once upon a time, billions of years ago, was joined together. They were not separate body. They were joined together in a dumbbell shape. What is dumbbell? Dumbbell is the dumbbell you used in the gym for exercise. It is made up of iron, which you use for lifting the weights, dumbbells. Alright, so that you used in the gym. So that Earth and moon which was joined together once upon a time was in the shape of a dumbbell. Alright, and then what happened? This dumbbell get broken. It gets separated from each other, and 2 separate bodies were formed. One was Earth and another one was moon. And this is how the Earth and moon came into the existence according to Dumbbell-Bell shaped theory, which was given by Darwin. And when they were asked, what is the proof that Earth and moon was joined together once upon a time? Then he said that a depression was created. One big depression, one big gap was created when moon got separated from the Earth. And that gap, that depression got filled with water and turned into ocean after some time. And that depression is still present in the Earth, and that is your Pacific Ocean. So the Pacific Ocean is actually, that ocean is filled in a big depression, right? It is filled in a big gap, and that big depression, big gap was created because the moon got separated from the Earth according to Darwin. So this is the theory which explains the formation of the moon. Yet we have the another theory also to explain the formation of the moon, and that is modern theory, and it is also called Big Spat theory. So this Big Spat theory was given by the scientist who was actually not happy with the earlier theory of Darwin, which says that it was separated from the moon, it was in the dumbbell shaped and then got separated, and then depression was created, and that depression was filled by the Pacific Ocean. So they did not agree with that theory, and so they gave another theory, and that is called Big Spat theory. According to the Big Spat theory, what happened? The earth was there in existence and there was a moving body. There was a moving body, big body came from the space. A big object came near the earth and that object was so big, it was 2 to 3 times more than the planet mass. So such a big object came near the earth and they bumped each other. They collided with each other, and when they bump each other, when they touch each other, there was a big hitting to the sun, to the earth, and after this hitting, so many material came out from this hitting, from this bumping. So much of material came out from bumping up this big mass, which was about 2 to 3 times bigger than mass. And the earth, when they bump each other, so many material came out from that bumping, and this material, because of the gravitational pull of the earth, started rotating in front of earth only, and it does not went anywhere else, but it started rotating in front of earth because of its gravitational pull of the earth. And slowly this material started turning into a rounded object, and then finally this rounded object turned into a moon. And this way the moon came into existence, and because of the gravitational pull of the earth, it stayed along with the moon, it stayed along with the earth and started revolving around the earth. So this was the modern theory which was given Big Spat theory, which was given by the modern scientists to explain the formation of moon. So these are the two theories which explain you the formation of the moon, and actually this moon is expected to be formed 4.44 billion years ago. So now after the formation of moon, let us see how the earth got evolved. Okay, we understood that this way or that way the earth came into the existence, and the earth was a big giant object of gas. Okay, so this was an object of gas. Then how the various other features were formed in the earth? How the lithosphere came into existence? How the hydrosphere came into the existence? How the atmosphere came into the existence? And how the finally life came into the existence? That's was an interesting question which geographer and scientists wanted to know. And they researched and they came with the conclusion that this lithosphere was formed, is explained you like what happens. See, the earth was first and foremost, it was a gaseous body, and its temperature in the beginning was extremely high. That gaseous body was actually burning, and it was having very high temperature. But you know why? What happened? Due to high temperature, the material gets separated from each other. They turn into their pure form. See, when you put the gold in the fire, the gold become pure, right? Same way, when you put any material in the very high temperature, it turns into a pure form. It gets separated from each other. And the same thing happened in the earth. The earth was made up of so many material. Because of the collision, so many material came and collided with the earth, and because of the high temperature of the earth at that time, this material started getting separating from each other. And when the material gets separated from each other, so the material which had a very high density, very high weight, they sunk down, because whenever the material which is heavy, it goes down and the lighter material goes up, right? So same way, when the material got separated from each other, the material which had very high density settled downward, less dense material settled in the middle, and very lightest material gets settled in the top. And in this way, the layer of different material got settled in the earth. And with course of time, what happened? The temperature which was very high at that time, it started decreasing slowly and slowly. And when the temperature started decreasing slowly and slowly, the upper crust, the upper layer of the earth, they started solidifying, they started condensing, they started solidifying actually. So the gas started turning into solid, and in this way your crust was formed. The upper layer of the earth, because of the low temperature, it gets solidified and it led to the formation of your crust. So as you know, the earth is consist of three layers. It consists of crust, mantle and core. So this crust was solidified, but not the mantle and core. The temperature is still high in mantle and core. Still it is in the molten form only. Still the lava is flowing in the mantle and core. Because the earth, definitely the earth got solidified, it get cooled down, but it solidified only the upper crust. Alright, still the temperature is very high in the downwards. In the below the crust you have a very high temperature, and because of that high temperature, still the material inside the earth crust is in molten form. So three layers of the earth was formed because of this high temperature, and later on because of the solidification, and that three layer is crust, mantle and core. You must have studied about crust, mantle and core in the past classes, also in the smaller classes, that the earth have three layer, and that is crust, mantle and core. So this three layer was there in the earth and get formed because of high temperature of the earth, and material got separated, they settled down in a layer, and then the upper layer got solidified because of decreasing temperature, and it led to the formation of crust, and below it you have mantle, and below that you have the core. And if you see the density, if you compare the density of crust with mantle and with the core, you will find that the density of crust is lighter. The density of core is the highest. It is the most denser than any other things in the earth. And the density of mantle, which is in between the core and the crust, is its density is neither very high, not very high like a core, and not very light like a crust. It is in between density. Its density is moderate. And so if you compare the density also, you are finding that the lighter material is forming the crust, and the denser material is forming the core, and the moderate density material are forming the mantles. And so this way your lithosphere came into existence, and all the layer of your lithosphere have different density, and its density from crust to core, you will see that it's getting on increasing, and this way your lithosphere came into existence. Now under the evolution of earth, we are going to see how atmosphere and hydrosphere came into existence. Alright. So atmosphere actually does not evolve in one stages, it was evolved in many stages. Earlier the atmosphere was consist mostly of hydrogen and helium, because in the beginning when the universe got formed, when the earth was formed, many hydrogen and much hydrogen and helium gases was present. So the earlier atmosphere of ours was consist mostly of hydrogen and helium gases. But later on what happened? This, as you know, that our earth is inner planet, it is near the sun, and the sun radiates, solar radiation is given by the sun, and this solar radiation is also called solar wind, and this solar wind have the capacity of wiping out the lighter gases. They move away the lighter gases, and hydrogen and helium both are light gases. So this light gases got wiped off from the earth. So earlier definitely in our atmosphere hydrogen and helium was there in large quantity, but because of the solar wind they moved away from our planet, and that was the first stage of atmosphere formation. And then when the temperature of the earth started getting decreasing, the earth started releasing some gases from its interior. Alright, it started radiating some gases from its interior. So many gases started coming out from the interior of the earth to the atmosphere. And especially this process is called degassing. It is called degassing. When the gases are released from the interior of the earth, it is called degassing. So after the hydrogen and helium was wiped out from our planet, our earth, and there was some gases released from the interior of the earth. Especially these gases were released in the volcanic eruption. In the volcanic eruption, you know that so many gases and material present inside the earth come out, right? So the same way the gases and other material came out from the inside the earth in the form of volcanic eruption. The volcanic eruption, which is still happening in the earth, it was very much happening in a large quantity in the past, and so in this way the new gases came out from the Earth's interior and got mixed up with the gases in the atmosphere. So what are the gases which was released after degassing? Those gases were nitrogen, water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, ammonia, and some amount of oxygen also. So this was the second stage of formation of atmosphere. Now we will study the third stage of formation of atmosphere, but we will study that after some time, because before that we will study how the hydrosphere came into the existence. See, when the little water vapor was released from the interior of the earth in the atmosphere, this water vapor started condensing and forming the clouds. And when they form the cloud after condensing, they causes rain, and it causes rain. So when the rain came on the earth, it mixes with the carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere and fall down on the earth. And when the rain was coming, it was bringing down the carbon dioxide on the surface of the earth. And see, this carbon dioxide is actually the gas which create high temperature. Alright, so when the carbon dioxide amount was decreased because of the rain, so the temperature of earth was further released, and more carbon dioxide was released in the atmosphere, and more condensation took place, and more rain came, and in the course of time this rain got collected in the depression area of the earth, and in this way the hydrosphere came into existence. It is expected that after the formation of the earth, after 500 million years after the formation of the earth, the ocean came into existence. And when the ocean came into the existence, after that you will get the third stage of your atmosphere formation. So when the ocean was formed, it was formed around 400 million years ago from now. And then life came into existence. You know, the life came into existence in the ocean. It came into existence 3800 million years ago. And when the life came into existence, the plant came. This plant started doing photosynthesis. And when they started doing photosynthesis, they released oxygen in the ocean. And when the ocean was fulfilled with the oxygen started releasing out of the ocean, and it came on the land also. And it mixed up with the atmosphere also. And then again in the third stage, your atmosphere changed, and your atmosphere now had the large quantity of oxygen as well. So in this way, your hydrosphere and atmosphere came into existence. In the atmosphere formation, you saw that earlier it has hydrogen and helium, which was wiped out because of solar wind. In the second stage, because of degassing, many gases were released from the earth. And in the third stage, because of photosynthesis, oxygen was mixed with the atmosphere, and this way the present day atmosphere came into existence. Now we are going to understand in the evolution of earth, the final stage of evolution of earth, and that is origin of life. So alright, this way the lithosphere came into existence, hydrosphere came into the existence, atmosphere came into the existence, but finally how the life came into the existence. So see, there is no perfect answer for that, but the scientists believe that because of some chemical reaction, one organic molecule was formed. And this organic molecule had the capacity to duplicate itself, to absorb something, or to convert the inanimate material into a living substance. So this molecule had so many qualities. And because of this molecule, the life came into the existence. When we study the fossil fuel, the earliest life which we came to know about is blue algae, which was found about 3000 million years ago from now. And slowly this algae, the unicellular bacteria, undergo many changes. They evolved with time, and then they turn into modern man. And in this way, your earth evolved finally. So there is a table in your book also. I recommend you to see this table. In this table, you are explained the various period, how the life has came into the existence, how the universe was formed, how many years back the universe was formed, and the sun and star and moons were formed, and then how the unicellular animals were formed, and then how reptile age came, and then mammal age came, and then how finally the modern man came into existence. So you just have a look in this table, and that will give you some idea about evolution of earth. And that's all in this chapter. I hope you like this chapter. and understood it in a better way. Thanks for watching, student, and happy learning.